Welcome to this edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience. I'm Mike Stenham here with the greasy biker Todd Reed. Todd, my man, not a whole lot of big star-studded names on the card tonight. We do have a couple of Francises going up against one another. Gabe Francis versus James Francis. Loser's got to change his name.
Hey, I think that sounds right, Mike. If you can't stand up to the other guy, change your name.
There you go. But in your main event, Sugarloaf is back. Sugarloaf is back. Now, if I would have said Mike Crisman versus Marc Brewer about 3 years ago, I would have been betting big on the Sugarloaf. But Marc Brewer here has been training.
Yeah, that's what I hear. He's been in there working hard. He's looking really good. It's going to be another exciting fight.
His whole body has transformed. He looks like a completely different person. It's the Ultimate Combat Experience coming right at you. Andy Witt. Haven't seen this kid in a little bit. Pretty quiet kid, but he's got a lot of anger inside of him. There's certainly no doubt about that. Going up against Derek Painter tonight.
He doesn't look too excited to be here.
He's bored to be here. You know, anyway, it's a hard time getting any emotional type response out of him in any way, shape, or form. But I'll tell you what, you watch when this fight starts, he's going to come out gunslinging. He's a tough kid. Not super pretty to watch, but he's a fighter. He's a gamer. First time we've seen Derek Painter step into our cage, so we don't know much about him. Looks to be a pretty good matchup. Derek Painter says he's a street fighter as well. Andy Witt does have no formal training. And between the two of them, you know, there's a slugfest waiting to happen. Lonnie Foster, your referee for this contest, giving them their last final instructions for the fight. And here we go. Touch of the gloves, and let's rock and roll. Kind of what we expected. Unleashed fury between both of them, and really not, you know, Derek Painter landed on top in mount position. I don't think he knows what mount position is because he's not really securing the position. Right now, they're just willing to hug each other. It's kind of fun to watch some of these fights, Todd, because you never know one of these two may end up being tomorrow's superstar in this game, because believe me, I've seen them all when they've started, and they all look like this. They don't realize it, but they all look like this. Big right hands coming over the top by Derek Painter. Andy Witt not liking that one bit. Painter's choking him, too, with a web-handed choke right there on the throat. And Andy Witt said, hey, man, that hurts. I'm getting out of here.
There's no love lost in this fight.
You know, it's not personal, but it's just these guys have no they're just street fighting, and that's what it is.
Yeah, it does make for an interesting fight. You take a lot of the technical grabs and takedowns out of it, and it's just a straight-up street brawl.
You know, it really is. And again, I think for me, the entertainment value here is just watching the progression of the fighters. You know, you see them get better incrementally each time they step into the cage. Right now, they're just doing what comes instinctively. There's not a whole lot of training involved in what either one of them are doing. They're just doing what feels right, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Even the glove touch was a little awkward right there. Both guys are wise enough or savvy enough to keep their hands up, keep their chins tucked in. Footwork is, you know, leaves a little bit to be desired, but not the worst I've seen, certainly. That's for sure. Andy Witt shooting in and almost getting a takedown, but Derek Painter getting his hips back and making things difficult for him. Nice big right hands to the body. Not sure how many of those landed where he wanted them to land, but he's throwing some forearm shivers over the top.
Witt says, I had enough of that. Let's get up.
Yeah, Witt's back on his feet. He likes to touch gloves a lot. And I'm not sure Derek Painter really cares much for that.
Painter's just punching that glove.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's much of a tap.
You ought to fake the touch and punch him in his face. You don't see a lot of glove touching in the middle of a round, and certainly a good fighter might take advantage of that, leaving yourself open by sticking your hand out. That was the ugliest shot attempt I've ever seen.
He walked into that.
Derek Painter throwing a big right hand over the top, made connection. Got a nice stiff jab there, does Derek Painter, and he's finding its mark with it now. Is that it? Round number one in the books. Nice work. So A little bit of a topsy-turvy start to this fight. We've got round 2 when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience, round 2 of 3 scheduled rounds between Derek Painter and glove toucher Andy Witt. Andy Witt touches the gloves more times than he's touched Derek's face with that glove, that's for sure.
Neither one of these guys landing very many of their punches.
A lot of them missing the mark. The occasional one that does land, you see a big, profound response from his opponent because his head just snaps back. Not a whole lot of defense or head movement by either guy. Strangely, Derek Painter looks much more stiff this round than he did in round number 1, and I'm not sure why. He really had his way with Andy Witt and clearly won the round, but he comes out much more stiff than he was in the last round.
Yeah, Witt's looking a lot more relaxed this round.
Yeah. And I kind of attribute that to your corner. If your corner may have given you too much advice, now you're thinking of too many things, and his corner should have just said, hey man, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing just fine. They continue to pepper away at one another on their feet with a nice little right hand by Andy Witt. Seem to have slowed the pace down just a little bit. These guys getting a little bit tired, as you could tell.
Neither one of these guys being too much of the aggressor, just...
No, they've both settled in. They're a little bit tired, and as I mentioned a minute ago, their footwork wasn't too bad. Well, their footwork has gotten much, much worse, and that'll happen when you get tired. Andy Witt kind of clomping around on his heels and crossing his feet a lot, bringing his feet real close together. But I'll tell you, Derek Painter's maintained a pretty good posture and a pretty good fight stance throughout this fight.
Well, that's where conditioning plays a huge factor in these fights. It's one thing to sit there and slug it out and kick it out, but if you don't have your wind, you're going to go down fast. Yeah, it's a huge part of it. Sometimes when you get new guys like this, they don't ever get past the first round, so conditioning doesn't become quite the factor that it is tonight. But both these guys pretty durable, both these guys willing to take a little bit of punishment, and so now you find yourself, into the later rounds of a fight. The later part of the fight, and they're still at it. So now conditioning is a factor. Interestingly enough, neither guy attempting a takedown here in round number 2. Both content to sit up and or stand up and punch one another in the face. I think part of that problem is neither of them know what to do when they get to the ground.
That's a good point, Todd. And I'm not so sure neither one of them really know how to get the opponent to the ground. They just kind of duck their head and go. As you saw Andy Witt at the first round, he had a really feeble-looking takedown attempt. So maybe he's probably better off staying up where he's at. All right, round number 2 in the books, and both these guys none the worse for wear. It doesn't look like either one are too terribly injured. Hopefully they'll get a little wind beneath them here and come out firing. Round number 3. Here we go. Man, Andy Witt landed a nice combination that buckled the knees of Derek Painter. Derek Painter didn't go down from it, but he's clearly responded to it. He's able to get back up on his feet and back into the fight.
Yeah, and both these guys taking it to where they know best. Let's stand up and brawl.
And for me, I would rather see this than two guys laying on each other. Boy, somebody lit a fire under Derek Painter, boy. Nice combination. Really put it to Andy Witt. Andy Witt responding, though, coming back with a nice combination of his own, and then Derek Painter coming back as well.
Yeah, and this is just one of those fights that really gets the crowd up off their feet and excited. Two big guys going at it, fists flying.
Yeah, I wasn't all that pleased with round number 2. They did seem to kind of take the second round off, but boy, they both come out in round number 3, and it seems like both of them have a renewed energy, and this is a lot of fun to watch. No sooner do I say that than they both settle back in and bring us back memories of round number 2.
Well, we get little spurts of energy there. It seems they both get it back at the same time.
Which is good. Makes for a fun few minutes for us.
See a smile there on the face of Witt.
They're both smiling, it looks like.
I think they're both just happy to be moving into the third round.
I didn't see this coming. You get a couple guys like this on the card, and you usually don't see them get past the first round, let alone the second. And yeah, they're still here, man. They make it all the way through. Oh boy, Andy Witt just ran into that one. It's starting to get a little bit ugly toward the end of the fight. Technique's starting to wane. I'll tell you what, though, Derek Painter's maintained his good posture, maintained his good stance throughout, keeps his hands up. Andy Witt's starting to drop his. You can tell he's tired. And he looks like the Flintstones. He kind of revs up before he runs in and just telegraphing the fact that he's going to be moving in. And each and every time he runs right into a punch.
Well, that's what happens when you say, hey, here I come.
Yeah, well, typically so. And Derek Painter, I've been impressed with the accuracy of his punches. He's landing, finding the mark for the most of this third round here. Nice right hand.
Yeah, he's got a really nice jab. He's been connecting with that.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful jab, and every now and then he'll throw that right hand right on the money as well. What I like what he's doing here, he's been kind of sticking and moving, kept it going. All right, that's going to do it right there. And I got to give it up for both these guys. They came out and put on a much, much better show than anticipated. And, shoot, if you don't like that, then I guess you're probably watching the wrong sport.
Yeah, that was a fun third round to watch.
Yep. But very entertaining. I think Andy Witt's going to be a little bit sore tomorrow. His face is going to feel a little pounded a little bit. But Derek Painter getting a big win. I don't think any surprise there. Nice work. Very, very impressive performance tonight. Congratulations. Now here's a guy who started out as a keyboard warrior, if you will. We have a chat forum on our website where guys get on there and talk about MMA, and both these guys are very noted posters on the chat forum. Neither one of them have a ton of fight experience, but they sure watch a lot of fights, and they sure get on and type about a lot of fights, and they decided to come in here and fight it out. They had a little dispute online, and man, how often do you get to see this happen? You hear so many times people in these chat forums, and they're just the toughest guy on earth behind a keyboard. Well, these guys actually put their money where their mouth is. They're going to come out here and finish it in the cage. You don't see a guy wear a shirt too often in MMA, and he's wearing a shirt. Maybe he's a little self-conscious. I don't know. Gets a big takedown there as Garcia, Dustin Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia's a big kid, a lot of weight there.
Yeah,
holding Jones down.
His screen name is Cheech, and I guess in the reference he looks like Cheech Marine a little bit. But yeah, he's a big kid, no doubt about it. And Jason Jones is gonna have a hard time getting out from underneath him. Jason Jones has to wear tape on his ears. He's got those big gauges in his ears, and doesn't really translate in MMA very well. Now Dustin Garcia sitting up and making Justin Jones pay for whatever he said on that interweb.
I don't see a way out.
Yeah, well, there's the way out right there. You're going to have to get Big Brother Dave to come in here and stop things. And Cheech, man, who knew Cheech could fight? Well, apparently this was a little bit personal, a little more personal than it should have been. I'm glad to have this platform that guys can come in and do this kind of thing. Neither one of them have any delusions that they're going to be MMA fighters in the UFC or anything like that. But you know what? They backed up what they had to say. They came in here and they put it up. Jason Jones lost, but you know what? He came in here and he did it. Nothing but love for that kind of thing. Well, a couple guys that one guy that we've seen before, this Jason Allguirem cat. He's here a lot. He's here not quite as much as Crisman, but he's been around longer than Crisman. He's been doing this for a while, but he fights a lot.
Yeah, Allguirem had a fight a few weeks ago.
He's fought several times in this round, so it looks like he's got a pretty tough kid, though. This kid he's going up against, Brett Jensen, don't know a lot about him, but he looks pretty strong. What do you think, Todd? Who are you picking on this one?
I don't know. Jensen, looking more the athlete, looks more conditioned. Just one of those things. We've all seen it before. Lucky punch.
Well, Jensen brought cuter girls, so I'm going to go with him because I want to be at his after party more than I would Jason's. Allguirem usually shows up to the arena alone. He comes here by himself. Kind of feel bad for the kid. He's just one of those knucklehead fighters that does it for, I don't know what his reasoning is, but he's going up against a very strong-looking kid. In fact, boy, Jensen looks, gosh, man, he looks much, much bigger than Jason Allguirem. A little bit stiff, but he looks pretty strong. Both guys just kind of testing the water here to get things going. Allguirem working to get that underhook, which again is something that he's learned over the time that's very, very important. You're on that cage, you've got to get that underhook. Now you can work your way off the cage by getting low and then spinning off the cage.
Yeah, Allguirem's technique is starting to look a little nicer. That last fight he had, his ground game was a little nicer. It seems like he's sizing up Jensen here a little bit.
Oh, buddy, big takedown there, though, by Brett Jensen. He made that one look easy, and he's stepping over. Looks like he may get, now he's got half mount, but God, he just looked like a strong kid to have on top of you, and I think Jason Allguirem is going to have a hard time moving him. Allguirem doing a nice job of pulling guard, getting his right leg through, so he's now he's able to control the spacing between the two. Looks like he's trying to climb the body and looking for an arm bar. Oh my gosh, he may have, nope, lost it. Wow, that was a little surprise from Jason Allguirem. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, there's a few things we haven't seen in the past from him. He's really stepping his game up.
He did a nice job of elevating his hips, getting up high, and it looked like he had that on pretty tight. But boy, that Jensen kid is really strong. He just ripped his arm right out of there when it came time. Jason Allguirem doing that rookie mistake of hanging on to the head. It's interesting to note, you see good things out of him. You see flashes of good things, and you see flashes of not so good things, and this is one of the not so good things right here.
Where would you be trying to go from this point?
He's got to take his left arm and get an underhook and come out the back door right there. His left arm's got to come out this way, scoot his hips out, and he'd have his back. He's not even trying to get that underhook. He's just hanging on to the head. And you can't let a guy that's on top of you stay perpendicular to you. You got to try to bring your hips parallel and then come around to the outside. And Jason's not even trying to do that. That arm that's over the top should be underneath.
They just look like a pretzel right here.
Yeah, well, a pretzel that's getting beaten on the bottom. Jason Allguirem is taking some shots to the body, and this kid looks like he hits hard. Doesn't look like those are just, baby shots. That's going to put an end to round number one. And I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with Brett Jensen. Seemingly looks like he's in good shape. We got more when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. Brett Jensen making his debut in the cage against the Gator, Jason Allguirem. Some people would say, why would you put a debut fighter against the guy with 70 fights? Well, it's because he's lost 60 of them. So it's an even matchup, and Brett Jensen actually making it look not so even. He looks pretty tough against old Jason Allguirem. Nice takedown right there to get the round started. Jensen was pretty dominant in the first round, kept pretty busy, and I was about to say before the break was that Jensen, I was impressed with his stamina. A lot of those guys come out with these big muscles, and they come out and they go, hog wild in the first round, and they don't have much left in the tank. Well, he walked back to his corner, and he looked pretty like he was in pretty good shape. And he came out firing away as well. So, kid's not only just muscles and good looks, he's got some stamina as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like he's too concerned. That was a pretty quick takedown. He did it with ease.
Yeah, you know, he's not too concerned about Jason Allguirem's submission either. Jason was looking for an armbar there, and Jensen just easily brushed it off. It wasn't even close to getting it. And now he's out in side control and you know, looking for mount. I don't think he needs to go to mount, though. He should just work from side control here. He's got Jason Allguirem pinned to the ground. Should throw some elbows to the head maybe and some knees to the body. But you kind of get stuck in your head. You got to get mount position. Well, here you go. You got mount position. What are you going to do with it?
That was a really nice move.
That was a nice finish, and he's got that mount, but he got a little too high. Jason Allguirem able to get a reversal out of it. The question is, what will he do with it? Jason Allguirem is in, you know, top position on a regular basis, but doesn't really. He's not one of those guys that's going to impose his will on you. He's not going to come up and overwhelm you with strikes. I don't even think he's going to try to pass guard. He's just going to kind of hang out in your guard and try a little neck crank there. Not doing much, and you know, until Jensen finally said enough's enough. I'm going to kick you off and take you down. Allguirem looking for that same guillotine choke that he had success with a couple weeks back with the chicken Jensen. Not quite able to get it there. This kid's just way too strong.
Yeah, you still got to give it up for Jason Allguirem. I mean, he's working really hard here. We're seeing a lot of things we haven't seen in the past from this kid.
Lonnie Foster stepping in. You cannot knee to the head when you're on the ground. And Lonnie Foster right on top of that. And I wasn't able to really see if those were landing on the shoulder or the head, but very, very illegal move and a super dangerous move. And I don't think that Brett Jensen's been around long enough to know that he was doing what he was doing was illegal, but it's very illegal. And Lonnie Foster did the right thing. Boy, that was really good for him to step in and stop that and making sure Jason Allguirem is all right. There's just nowhere for your head to go, and you can really generate a ton of velocity with your knees there. So, you know, I really like that stoppage. I really like it for this reason too. I love this stoppage, actually. I wish Lonnie would stop it more often.
Bring all the ladies ringside.
Man, there are a lot of lovely ladies tonight, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to get back underway here, and I'm not sure if Lonnie took a point away or not. Probably should have, because there were like 3 or 4 of them that landed. So that evens things up. If you're Jason Allguirem, you really just got to win this round and win the next one, and you're home sailing free, man. That's going to put round number 2 behind us, and another dominant round for Brett Jensen. And again, I'm very impressed with how fresh Jensen looks right now. He doesn't seem to be too terribly winded, you know, and he's came out and put it to him. He's not been coasting through these rounds, so I'm very impressed with his stamina, especially a guy. You see those muscles a lot of times, man. They're hard to carry around. They get super heavy in round number 3, and it doesn't really seem to be the case with Brett Jensen. No,
he looks really relaxed and light.
Light on his feet and missing a big right hand right there. He needs to set it up, and that may be an indication of his inexperience that when you get into the 3rd round, boy, it becomes even more important to set those kind of shots up. Don't just wing them from your hip. Jason Allguirem trying to just hang on here. If he can hang on long enough and look for that big shot, who knows, man. Big knee he just took right there by Brett Jensen. And again, there was another demonstration of his strength. Jason tried to trip from behind. He didn't even move him. Jason looking to apply a standing guillotine. Brett Jensen just hanging out. Maybe he's getting a little tired now, and he's willing to just kind of hang out here. You see a mistake that a lot of people make. There you go. Jason making an adjustment there. He had that arm encircled, which leaves room there so you don't get choked out. So Jason came inside. Now he's got just the head. And now that you've got just the head, you've got a much better chance of finishing this move right here. Arches back. It's close to getting that thing on. If he would have been smart enough to pull guard here when he went to the ground, he had a chance at that. Now he doesn't, now that it's in side control. Unless he's able to rotate his hips back and go into full guard there, he's not going to get this submission. Well, yeah, I think that was Jason Allguirem's one and only chance, and he missed it. So right here, Brett Jensen making him pay, man. That kind of hurt my neck a little bit, and so he landed some big left hands to the face of Jason Allguirem.
Yeah, Jensen's just going to stand there and sit there and pound on him for a minute.
Yeah, I don't see Jason getting out from underneath here. He looks like he's, again, hanging on to that head, which is a resignation move. You're not even going to try to get an escape. You're just trying to hold on to him so he doesn't hurt you too bad. And, you know, it's a pretty good sign that things aren't going to change for Jason Allguirem. Looks like we're going to grind it out. We're going to take this one to the judges' scorecards. It looks like, I believe so, unless something crazy happens in the next little bit here. Jason Allguirem and Brett Jensen putting on a pretty good show for the fans tonight. But I have a funny feeling at the end of this thing, they're going to be telling Jason Allguirem, you were good, just not good enough. Here tonight against Brett Jensen.
Jensen just picking him apart.
Picking him apart. Lonnie Foster says that's going to do it. Round number 3 comes to a conclusion. Jason Allguirem dragging his butt back to his corner. Brett Jensen kind of dragging his butt back to his corner too. You know, I mentioned this in a show before. Look at Allguirem's face. There's nothing wrong with it. This kid takes a beating and he never gets a black eye. He never gets a mark on his face. He got beat up tonight, but you wouldn't know it by looking at him. Brett Jensen getting a big win. Nice job. Congratulations. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. Chet Thomas once again bringing it. He brought the girls tonight, man. Bringing Spanish Fork to the fights tonight. Chet Thomas from Spanish Fork, when he comes up, he brings the entire town, and apparently those girls had nothing better to do tonight, and God bless them.
Didn't you say he's a bar owner down there?
He owns a bar down there. Owns the only bar in town, and it's the most popular bar there, and that's why these ladies they shut the bar down when he fights. They come up here and he's a deer hunter or something like that is what it's called. But Daniel Grass, he's a funny story, man. We found this guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We needed a last-minute fight for Cole Rose. I put something up online. Daniel Grass responded it to him. He took a Greyhound bus up here, fought Cole Rose, got beat, went back home, and then sent me a letter, said, hey, man, can I move up there to anywhere I can stay? He lives in my gym now. He's a gym rat. He lives in my gym. Moved up here from Oklahoma just to be a fighter, getting taken down by Chet Thomas. Chet Thomas, a pretty tough kid, and you can see right there, a nice takedown to get things started. Daniel Grass is one of those really strange guys to grapple with. Oh, nice armbar right here. Oh, didn't quite get his leg around to the head. I don't think he's going to get this. As I was about to say, Daniel Grass is super flexible. You've got to be on point. Yeah, he's got that armbar on backwards. It's not going to work. You got to be on point with your submission with Daniel Grass because he can bend in ways that a lot of people cannot bend. And see right here, he's just making things difficult for old Chet Thomas. Chet's trying to wonder what the heck is he doing? He's upside down. Why is he doing this to me?
Neither one of these guys are giving up anything. They're both hanging in there.
Yeah, look now, Daniel Grass looking for an ankle lock, it looks like. And both guys should be doing that. You've got an ankle sitting in your face. Why not try to attack it? And it looks like they both are trying to. Daniel Grass's ankle lock attempt is more of a pain compliance submission, whereas the one Chet Thomas was doing was going to be one of those that will wreck your knee if you get it on. But Daniel Grass still has a hold of his. This is just a strange position. There's really not a name for it. Daniel Grass finds himself in these weird positions all the time. He doesn't have any names for them. They just happen. He's not by any stretch. He's a white belt, but you know, he's been doing this grappling game a little bit, just enough to probably get himself in trouble. But he's so flexible and so kind of unorthodox that he can get you in trouble too. You can see Chet Thomas doesn't really like that old figure four in his body. He's trying to get deep breaths and he's not able to do it. And you know, the frustrating part is he wants to punch this kid and he can't. He's having a hard time getting around enough to punch him. Daniel Grass finally giving up and giving up his back as he does. Chet Thomas happy to punch him in his face for all that trouble. Chet Thomas able to get full mount, and here come the bombs, baby. Well, I thought they were, but Daniel Grass, as we mentioned, is so flexible. He's able to get his legs up in between Chet Thomas's arms and his face to block.
He's got great movement down there. I mean, he's just very agile, just flipping around Thomas.
He is certainly agile, is a good word to use to describe him. But again, you know, what he does, he doesn't, he's so unorthodox, it just makes it difficult for you. Paying the price right there, though, taking some big shots from Chet Thomas. Chet landed a big shot to the body. Dave Selly started yelling at him for it, because that's what Dave does. Round number 1 in the books. Round number 2 coming your way. With it's kind of a touch of the gloves.
I don't think either one of them were too sure about that.
And I don't, you know, look, Daniel, what are you doing? You know, pulling guard, I guess. You know, it's good for a jiu-jitsu match, but you get a guy on top of you that's going to punch you in your face.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Thomas will do. He's a great striker, and he's just going to keep on pounding on you.
He's a relentless striker as well. He sees opportunities, and he's just going to let you have it and continue to let you have it until you don't want to have it anymore. All right, Grass doing a nice job of pulling guard here. Got to do something with it, though. You got to improve your position. Don't just hang on here. You got a kid like Chet Thomas on top of you. You got to get to work. Chet Thomas missing with an elbow strike. Chet Thomas passing guard here, coming out. Wow, Daniel just seemed to kind of let him do that, which was kind of strange to me. He's hanging onto the head, looking for a reversal of some sort.
Giving up his back.
Well, he gave up his back. Well, gave it up, then he didn't, then he did again. Boy, Chet Thomas will make you pay for stuff like that. He's picking his shots very wise. Looking for an armbar again. Not sure why he did that. He had a great position. I would have continued to pound away at the head of Daniel Grass. Daniel looking for another ankle lock submission.
Looks like he might have it
That's a move that I like to do to Daniel all the time. It's an easy move to catch on a guy like Daniel because he's so flexible and he leaves his feet behind. So taking a little page out of my book right there. Nice to see it.
This is a great fight, back and forth. Both these guys relentless.
It's fun, no doubt about it. And you know, if Daniel would just tighten up his game a little bit, he'd be amazing. And to be honest with you, if Chet Thomas was in a little better condition, he would be amazing. You see him slowing down right here. That's because he's not in the shape that he should and could be in. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a tremendous upside to him, but his conditioning has always kind of been a factor. He's usually able to finish people off by now. But when you get into somebody like Daniel Grass, another looks like an armbar attempt. I don't really know where he was going with this. I don't know what Daniel Grass is doing to counter, other than getting hit in his face. Daniel Grass wins that scramble. Chet Thomas telling us when he took this fight, he says, you know, I'm not in very good shape right now, and it's really starting to show. Oh, he better not tap to something like that, though. Oh, my gosh. Did he tap? He did tap. It looked like he did. Wow, I'm very, very surprised by that. That was a bit of a neck crank. Wasn't really a submission. I think he just was tired. Yeah, clearly he was tired. And boy, Spanish Fork is sad now.
Well, Grass did a great job of controlling the ground.
Well, Daniel Grass did what he does. He's very durable, takes a lot of punishment, and you know, you leave something behind, give him an opportunity, and he was going to take full advantage of it, and he did. That was a very, very nice job by Daniel Grass. And this guy's tired right here. They're going to have to roll him back to Spanish Fork. All right, he's too tired even to come out for the hand raise. Daniel Grass getting it done. Wow, nice job, Daniel. Now get back to your room. The Battle of the Francises. Gabe Francis, James Francis going up against one another. Winner gets to keep the name, loser gotta cut it. Right here, Gabe Francis. We've seen him in the corner of a lot of guys this round. Most notably, Soup Sam, Simple Man's corner man. And tonight going up against Scrappy, James Francis. We've seen him fight a couple times this round as well. James looking very composed as he comes into the cage.
I guess it'd be safe to say these guys are not related.
Yeah, well, you got a toe head and an empty head. All right, the dreads are kind of a trademark of Gabe Francis. Had those as long as I've known him. It's been, maybe a decade or so. Nice kid, super nice kid. Trains folks up north there, up in the Ogden area. Got pretty good jiu-jitsu, got pretty good striking. Both these guys are pretty decent at, every facet of the game. No world beaters, I should say, but they're pretty decent. Oh, man. Gabe Francis just got caught with a big shot, lands on his backside. James Francis looking to finish things off here. Gabe looking to survive, just hanging on to that leg.
James just putting a beating on him.
He sure is. Gabe's a tough kid, though, man. I'm not so sure he's done just yet. Well, James Francis looking for a guillotine. And now a triangle choke. Man, he's done some great transitions here, I gotta say.
Yeah, he's making quick work there of James.
Of Gabe.
Or of Gabe.
Yeah. All right, he's got to tighten that up. He's got to bring that foot down into the nook of his knee to make this triangle work. And not quite able to get it, but he does wind up on top. A little bit of a scramble here. James Francis winding up on top. Gabe Francis able to regain his composure and pull guard. Somebody's bleeding pretty good, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming off the face of Gabe.
Yeah, it sure does. Now, Gabe gets a triangle choke of his own. Here's what happens when you get a guy like that. You know what? That was a beautiful transition. It looked like he was in trouble for the longest time, and then he puts it on, and that's going to do it.
That's it.
Wow. What a turn of events. James Francis seemed to have Gabe Francis in trouble most of the round, and just finally, toward the end of the round there, Gabe Francis gets a big, nice triangle choke and finishes up. James is so sad.
I'll tell you what, I thought it was over for Gabe there.
Yeah, I did too, man. And you saw that he was bleeding pretty good, and I thought he was in a lot of trouble, but boy, he came back and did his thing. Congratulations, that's a great job. You don't see comebacks like that too often. You see a lot of guys that get caught like that, they just fold. Not Gabe Francis, though. Gabe Francis comebacks and get a big win. Nice job, congratulations. All right, folks, it's time for your main event. Marc Brewer, funny story about him. He came out, started this show maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Came out, got knocked out with one punch. Got knocked out by a guy who just wasn't all that good. And I hadn't seen him since. But I've seen him on the jiu-jitsu circuit, and he's been taking jiu-jitsu and taking it very seriously. And he's pretty good. He's, I think, like a brown belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu now. And he's been watching the show from afar. Didn't want to get too close after that first experience, but he said, you know what? I got to come in here and show you what's what. And, who better to do that against than Mike Sugarloaf Crisman, because Sugar's in the show every week. And Marc Brewer's like, you know what? I could be doing this in that show. I just was afraid this last several years. And, let's see what you got here. Let's see what all that jiu-jitsu training has done for you. Sugarloaf coming out, firing away. Obviously, Brewer wants to take this to the ground and as quickly as possible. Sugarloaf's got some, really heavy hands, and I don't think Marc Brewer wants any part of that, especially after probably having flashbacks from last time. Sugarloaf coming up on top. Nice throw by Sugarloaf. Haven't seen that out of him much. He's got to keep the pressure on. He's got to keep striking. That's the best way. They say every time you get punched in your face, your belt level goes down one. So if you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, get punched in your face once, you're now a brown belt. Get punched again, you're a purple belt, and so on. Sugarloaf trying to take all those belts away right here. He's putting it on Marc Brewer.
Yeah, we haven't seen Sugarloaf like this in a while. He's very aggressive tonight.
He knows how good this Marc Brewer is at jiu-jitsu. He knows, and so he's pretty amped up. He knows he can't slip up and find himself in a bad spot, which he's doing right here. Shouldn't stay on his knees. You can't stay there. You've got a kid. He's putting on that choke, and I think that's on. Todd, I think this might be over. No, maybe not. Marc Brewer gave up on the choke. Nice job of Crisman of getting up. He's got to get his hips up. He's doing a good job here. It's his only chance of getting away. But Marc Brewer able to break him back down, and that can be a will breaker, man. You break him back down. He's got full mount. This is ugly for the Shugs.
This is not a good spot for the
buddy.
Sugarloaf.
No, he's taking some shots right here. Nice striking by the grappler here. Marc Brewer doing a great job finding his mark on Mike Sugarloaf's face. And now he's looking to submit something. He's doing a good job of just kind of moving around and looking for things on top there. Sugarloaf doing a good job of keeping his arms in so he's not leaving anything behind until right there. I spoke too soon. Oh,
Sugarloaf doing a good job.
Doing a great job of defending, getting that armbar out of there, making Marc Brewer work.
I think Brewer's a little surprised.
Yeah, and he should be. Yeah, he thought he was going to come in here and walk right through Mike Crisman, and Mike's giving him all he can handle here in the first round. Looks like we got a wardrobe malfunction here. Sugarloaf getting his glove fixed up. And that'll happen a lot with grapplers. They grab onto those gloves when they're trying to work a submission. Sugarloaf doing a nice job of backing up, punching to the head. He doesn't want to engage in a grappling situation. Nice work by Mike Crisman.
Brewer doesn't want anything to do with those heavy fists from Crisman.
He doesn't want anything to do with those. He's smart not to, but he is in a good position here. He's got Crisman against the cage, and he's on top. Mike's got to circle out. He's got to stand up and circle out. He can't stay in there. Turn and kick out. He's got to kick out here. I'm really surprised at how well Sugarloaf has been able to thwart these takedown attempts. When it really doesn't look like he's doing the right thing a lot of the times, Marc Brewer hasn't been able to finish some of the stuff that he's been attempting. Although he does find himself in another great spot right here, full mount. Well, this will end the fight right here. If he continues to do it, doesn't quit on it and try to do an armbar again, he'll probably win the fight with strikes.
Yeah, Sugarloaf keeps sticking his arms out like that. He's going to get one of them grabbed.
Well, these arms, he's got a really long reach, and so he can sit up, and Sugarloaf can't really defend, and he's just landing punch after punch. Dave Sully says he's got to look at stopping this pretty soon because Mike's not really defending. He's not doing a whole lot to stop these punches from hitting him in the face. The reason you see that fight be allowed to continue is these referees, they know Sugarloaf. They know how durable he is. They know, he's very rarely been hurt. He's been beaten a lot. He's never been hurt. He's never been knocked out. So he's a kid you kind of give a little more leeway to when you see big bombs being dropped like that. But at the same time, he's
giving
in trouble
up his
now.
back. I think he's in trouble now.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep rear naked choke. And it seems to me like Sugarloaf's just kind of letting him slide it in deep enough to do the damage. His head's turning purple. That's a bad sign, right? When your head turns purple,
looks like it's about to pop.
I'm no doctor. I'm not house call doctors, but
you got to give it up for the Sugarloaf.
He's a gamer, man.
Going for it.
Battles his way back on top. Stay out of his guard, Mikey. Stay out of his guard. Oh, there's an armbar. That's it. Well, you know, Mike Crisman came out and showed me a lot tonight. I've been very impressed with him. And I think he showed Marc Brewer a lot tonight as well. Brewer thought he was just going to have a cakewalk in here, and it didn't turn out quite that way. I think Sugarloaf should keep his head up on this one. That was a great job.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Maybe, hopefully Brewer doesn't wait another 8 years before getting back in here. Nice job as well. Well, buddy, I guess Gabe Francis gets to keep the Francis name. James Francis is going to have to do something. He'd just go by Scrappy now. But Marc Brewer, man, what a transformation we've seen in him.
I'll tell you what, another great fight. Love that submission there. I'll tell you what, we got to get in there, Mike. Step it up.
Mikey, get back in the gym. You know, I guarantee you he'll be back in the cage probably next week.
Absolutely. That guy fights hard. He's ready to get back at it.
All right, let's wrap things up here. It's the Ultimate Combat Experience. We do it week after week after week. I hope you tune in and check it out next week. We'll see you then.